Welcome back, and today we're talking about IWGP episode 8. So, like always, let's just jump into it. Episode 8 of IWGP has to be my favorite episode yet. I absolutely love this episode, at the very least on an emotional level, because I connected with this episode quite a lot. While I grew up with both my parents early on in my childhood, when I was around 9 years old, I did grow up with my father alone. So, my father was like a single dad, raising me by himself. My mother was just fine. She just wasn't able to come to the United States along with my father and myself. We didn't have enough money to get her to come over here. So I grew up with my dad by myself. So I definitely connected to this episode on an emotional level. And, just seeing somebody struggle the way that little kid's mother did, that was just definitely close to home. But yeah, before we jump into it, let me remind you to like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel out. But we're here for Ikebukuro West Gate Park, so let's jump into it. The episode starts off with a kid kind of playing on a balcony. That's already bad news. I immediately thought this kid is gonna fall off. Not even 2 seconds later, he ends up falling. Now, he does land on a bush, so that kind of cushions his fall. Honestly, I thought the kid died, but they didn't want to show it on screen, so they used that bush to kind of hide it. But no, as it turns out, the kid is just fine, and that's good. That's good. Honestly, that's very good. I don't want no kids dying in any anime, so that's good that the kid is fine. But we see that Kyoichi, he's the leader of the Red Angels. He kind of hires Makoto to kind of look after the mom, to kind of keep an eye on them, to check up on them, because she's kind of getting like cyberbullied, right? We see there's some mean comments saying, you shouldn't be a mother, like you don't have the right to be a mother, like you don't know how to take care of a kid. It's some mean stuff, right? And it's not until we learn her side of the story that we don't get the full picture, right? Like, honestly, when we learn that she left the child behind by himself while she went to see Kyoichi kind of dance, do his ballet in the park, that's when the kid fell off. So that's already like a very irresponsible thing to do. You should never leave your child at home alone, especially when you live like on a third floor of a building and the kid can easily access the balcony. That's just a big no-no. And I understand where she's coming from, right? I had kids when I was very young, and I believe they said she was like 22 years old. So, if you factor in how old the kid is and how long it takes to bring a kid to full term. So she probably had that baby like around 18 or 19, I would say, because, that the kid is like maybe like 3 years old. So I'm guessing around 18 or 19. I don't know if they specified how old she was, but even still, they did say she was like 22. So that's still a very young age to have a kid, to be responsible, especially when you're a single mother. And she is trying, right? She did explain to Makoto that she's working a full-time job. Her hours are absolutely crazy, like from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. So, she can't sleep a normal schedule. So she kind of sleep during the day, and, the sun is probably playing up because they sleep during the night. So she's having a very, very hard job right now, right? She has to work full-time to kind of keep up with the kids, support the family, because she's by herself. She has to pay for the apartment, the food, everything. It's a single mother. It's a very hard job to do, to raise a child by yourself, and she's doing it all alone, and she's very, very young, right? She's not like mature enough to do this kind of job right now. So I like the ending of the episode where we see kind of Makoto, his mother putting the kid for adoption for a little bit. And then we're going to talk about that, because that's a heavy topic right there as well. But yeah, this episode, essentially, we see Makoto trying to solve that problem, because Yui, she's definitely struggling. You can just see it in her face. She's definitely dealing with some huge depression. The kid is happy at first. We see the kid is happy, so she is doing her best. But that's not a way to live, right? When you're stressing about how you're going to pay your bills, and then on top of that, your kid had an accident because of a moment of weakness, right? Like, I don't think what she did was right, but can you really blame her, right? Can you really blame her? She decided that she needed like a little quick break, but that was enough for that kid to fall off the balcony. So I'm not making excuses for her. Honestly, Child Protective Services should have been called, because especially when we saw those wounds on the kid. This episode was just, it hit so many different emotional moments that it was just a rough episode. I loved it. I loved the episode. I loved the story that he was trying to say. But later on, we do see Yui was happy. She was smiling, and Makoto's mom was able to pick up on that. We see how oblivious Makoto is to this thing. He just thought that she was happy, but no, as it turns out, she found a man, and this man was a sex trafficker. I don't know how sex traffic works in Japan. Heck, I don't even know how it works in the US, because honestly, to me, it just seemed kind of weird whenever that detective came in and was explaining to Makoto how there's, like a sex industry in Ikebukuro is kind of picking up. A strange man came to town and he's trafficking all these different girls by buying expensive stuff, and then they break up and he asks all the girls to pay him back. I don't think that's how it works. It could be a cultural thing in Japan where if you have a boyfriend and they buy you expensive stuff, you kind of return everything that they bought. I don't know why you would. Are they going to give it to the next girl? Well, to me, that was just weird. Again, it could just be a cultural thing. But I can tell you right now, at least the girls that I've dated, any little princess that I bought, heck, even my wife, if we were to like break up tomorrow, she ain't giving nothing back. She's gonna keep it all. Like, she ain't giving nothing back. She don't play that game, and I don't think any woman would play that game, right? Like, maybe if you're like in an abusive relationship and you're scared, maybe that would be a problem. But I don't think here in the U.S. there's the whole thing where you can get blackmailed into working as a sex slave because your boyfriend bought you expensive gifts. I don't think it's just a cultural thing. It's a huge difference, I'm guessing. But if you do know about that stuff, definitely let me know in the comments, because I would be really interested to know if that thing actually happens in Japan, because I feel like this anime tries to relate some actual problems in the world in the anime. So I'm guessing stuff like this does happen. It might be rare, but I can't imagine happening in Japan maybe. So I would definitely like to know more about that. But yeah, I mean, that was a huge plot twist for me, because I did not think it was going to be something along sex trafficking, especially since she's a single mother. She will kind of be forced into this, and we see her kid, how sad he was. He was depressed now, right? Like, the first half of the episode, we notice that Yui is the one depressed while her kid is happy. And then the second half, when she finds that man that's giving her expensive gifts, she's happy, but the kid is not happy. He's depressed. And you can see that it has something to do with her age, I believe, right? She's still very young, 22. So she finally has somebody giving her attention, helping out with bills, giving her expensive gifts. So she's very happy, but she is getting frustrated with the kid to the point where she's hitting him. That was another one I did not see coming. Honestly, I thought it was going to be along the lines of the person that was trying to do the sex trafficking, like the boyfriend. I thought he was the one hitting the kid, but no, it turns out it was Yui. And I also thought the kid was just depressed because mom is not paying attention to him. She's paying attention to the boyfriend. So I thought that was what's going on at first. I did not see him being abused physically was going to be the problem. Now, the way that they caught the boyfriend that was trying to sex traffic Yui, honestly, I kind of wish they would have gave him to Kyoichi. I feel like Kyoichi should have taken care of that problem with violence, not the police. Makoto, he kind of went undercover. He recorded, he took pictures of that guy saying that, he's working on Yui to get her in trouble so he can, sex traffic her. So I really wish he would have gotten like some under the table justice with Kyoichi, because we know Kyoichi, he did not like what those guys were saying with the comments to Yui. He was talking about, like, the way Kyoichi was talking, he was saying he wanted to get all those guys and line them up and shoot them with a machine gun. Kyoichi might be a little too violent. But I kind of wish he would have taken care of that situation, because we know that guy that was trying to sex traffic Yui, he's definitely done it before. He was bragging how good he is at his job, how he's done it before and all that stuff. So I feel like that dude should be one of those dudes that should have disappeared, like the G-Boys, the Red Angels, whoever that case. I feel like they should have made that guy disappear. Absolutely messed up. Now, my favorite part of the episode, of course, was the new information that we got regarding Makoto. Heck, even Kyoichi. We learned that Makoto, when he was a little kid, he lost his father at a very young age. It's like about as soon as he was born, shortly after, his father passed away in an accident. And his mother kind of put him up for adoption. And this is one of the parts I want to focus on, because, again, I don't know. I'm not an expert in how adoption works in the US or in Japan, but I feel like the way they explained it in this episode is a really good way to do it. I mean, she was talking about how you can place your kid in adoption for like, a year, 2 years, temporary, right? So you can, lift yourself up, go out, find a job, get yourself financially stable so you can take care of your kid later on, right? So I don't know if they can do that in the US. I don't know if that's a thing in the US where if you can't take care of your child, if you can put it up for adoption until you're financially stable, until you can actually take care of the kid and then get the kid back. I think the way it works in the US, again, I'm not an expert. If you know about this, definitely let me know in the comments. But I'm guessing if you put your kid up for adoption, it will be a really hard task to get that kid back under your custody. I feel like it's gonna be, a lot of lawyers are gonna have to be involved. It's gonna be expensive. But it seems like here in Japan, the way that Makoto's mom was explaining it, it seemed like a fairly easy process. Heck, at the end of the episode, I'm glad we got to see Yui smiling again. Again, the whole scene with the kid and him being, hit. That was sad. And, him forgiving his mother, saying that it wasn't her fault. I mean, it was a really sad episode. I love this episode. Definitely my favorite one. I just really kind of connected to it because I grew up with like a single family household when I came to the United States. It was just my father and I for like the longest time, so I kind of connected with that. And yeah, I mean, overall great episode. I kind of wish they keep this kind of episodes up because I feel like when they deal with some heavy like social like issues, like being a single mother and stuff like that, I feel like those episodes would be really good. I would love to see what else they do. I know when the anime first started, I wasn't really feeling it, but I feel like the last like 3 episodes were really strong ones. So hopefully we keep that momentum going for the the next 4 episodes. I believe this is gonna get 12 episodes. So 4 episodes left. Hopefully they keep that momentum going and each episode just raises the bar a little bit, because by the time we get to 12 episodes, it's gonna be great. They just gotta keep it going. The last 3 episodes were great. This is my favorite one so far in the series, so let's keep it going. But let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode, and like always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.